Theirs was a story as old as time. A young man, Richard Perry Loving, and a young woman, Mildred Dolores Jeter, would meet, fall in love, and decide to get married. The couple traveled to Washington, D.C., about 90 miles north of their hometown in Caroline County, Virginia, in May 1958 to apply for a marriage license. About a week later, on June 2nd, 1958, they returned to D.C., became husband and wife, then went home to Central Point, Virginia to start their happily ever after. What happened just 5 weeks later would change everything. Acting on an anonymous tip, Caroline County's Sheriff Garnet Brooks, along with other deputies from his department, knocked, then entered the Lovings' bedroom on the morning of July 14, 1958. I guess it was about 2 a.m., Mildred Loving said in a 1967 ABC News report. I saw the lights, and I woke up, and it was the policeman standing beside the bed, and he told us to get out and that we was under arrest. The two were tossed into the Bowling Green jail. Richard for 1 day, but Mildred, who was pregnant at the time, was held longer and released to the custody of her father, not her husband. On January 6, 1959, the two would stand before Judge Leon Bazile, accused of cohabiting as husband and wife against the peace and dignity of the Commonwealth. Judge Bazile had long supported Virginia's Racial Integrity Act of 1924, which prohibited individuals from different racial and ethnic backgrounds from marrying. The Lovings were sentenced to 1 year in jail, but their sentence was suspended on one condition. The couple had to leave the state of Virginia for 25 years. They agreed, packed their bags, and headed back to the nation's capital. Richard, a construction worker, supported the family, while Mildred took care of their 3 children, Sidney, Donald, and Peggy. In 1963, Mildred penned a letter to then U.S. Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, who would refer them to the ACLU. A couple of young attorneys, Bernard Cohen and Philip Hirschkopf, were just 2 years and 2 months out of law school when they took the case. The case, Loving versus Virginia, would go all the way to the Supreme Court. Before the trial, the attorneys asked Richard if he had anything he'd like to share with the court during the trial. He said, "Yes. Tell the court I love my wife, and it's just unfair that I can't live with her in Virginia." A full clip of the oral argument for this case can be found at encyclopediavirginia.org. On June 12, 1967, the Lovings won their case, which effectively struck down laws against interracial marriages, not only in Virginia but across the United States. In later years, Mildred would share the following statement. When my late husband Richard and I got married in Washington, D.C. in 1958, it wasn't to make a political statement or to start a fight. We were in love, and we wanted to be married. My generation was bitterly divided over something that should have been so clear and right. I am still not a political person, but I am proud that Richard's and my name is on a court case that can help reinforce the love, the commitment, the fairness, and the family that so many people, black or white, young or old, gay or straight, seek in life. I support the freedom to marry for all. That's what loving and loving are all about.